Hello everyone, it's Kathy and welcome back here on my YouTube channel and in my craft room. Today I'm going to be working with this beautiful stamp set called Regal Reindeer. And this might be one of those that might be a little intimidating because there is a lot of coloring that needs to be done. But I'm going to show you that it's not intimidating if you just take it step by step. And that's so true in most everything. So we're going to be using some of these images, and I thought the best thing to do is go ahead and get our stamping and coloring done first. So, and I also have the coordinating reindeer dies that go with this, which makes it wonderful and very easy to cut out any of your images that you stamp. So we'll be doing that as well. So I'm going to move that over, and the first thing I want to do is I got a piece of basic white, and this is a scrap that I pulled out of my scrap bin, and we are going to stamp some images. Here is that beautiful majestic reindeer, and doesn't he look gorgeous? I love him. I think he's very pretty. These are the cling stamps, so they always give a nice a very nice image. So since I'm going to be coloring these, and I'm going to be using my Stampin' Blends, which are alcohol based markers, I chose my Memento ink. Now I'm going to zoom y'all in a little bit so you can see a little bit better, something like that. And I'm going to take, since this is a large stamp, I'm going to take my ink pad to my block. So I'm just going to ink this up like this, and you just want to keep tapping until you get enough of ink on it, and you can usually look at it and tell when it's, you know, it's inked up like it should be. And we're going to go with that. Let's go ahead and cover this ink pad back up. And I'm going to stamp him. I think I'm going to come down here to the bottom. And we're going to stamp him down just like that. Nice, pretty image. And it's even going to be prettier once we color it. And I am going to be OCD and clean that stamp right away. And I'm using my Stampin' Scrub in case you haven't seen this. You can put your cleaner on this side, and you have the other side where you can actually dry off your image. And I didn't do a very good job because I think I put cleaner on both sides of mine. And mine's dirty. I need to take it to the sink and clean it. I haven't cleaned it since I had my little stamping class the other night, and it definitely needs cleaning. But anyway, as you can see, that gives you a nice clean stamp after you're done. The next thing that I want to do is the little child that's standing holding the apple. I want to go ahead and stamp that. And we're going to stamp this image right here. Very nice. And I think that's all of the images that we're actually going to stamp right this minute. We are going to come in and do the trees and some other things in just a minute, but for right now, that's what I want to concentrate on. And I want to show y'all how to color these using your alcohol markers, which are the Stampin' Blends, in case you're not familiar. I am going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut these images out. And the reason I'm doing that is I just want to have that small piece to use to color. And the same with this one, and then that saves this piece for something else. I'm all about saving a little bit when I can, and I encourage y'all to do the same. Cardstock's not cheap, and I always try to be as frugal as I can when it comes to my cardstock. Now the colors for my reindeer that I chose, I'm going to actually put this away and get a different color. This was the light red. I want to use my dark red. Okay, so the dark red, and I'm going to use that for all of his little I guess that the harness, I think that's what you would call that. And we're going to grab a crumb cake, light and dark, and a soft suede, light and dark. So those are the markers that I'm going to use to color my reindeer. So what I want to do first is I want to establish where his harness is. So I'm going to go in with my small tip on my real red marker. And let's see if I can zoom y'all in a little bit more, because I really want y'all to see how I color this. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start here on his nose. And I'm just going to color straight down and then over. And like that. And it looks like there's a little bit of fringe hanging. So I'm going to color that red as well. And there's a little Christmas ball hanging from his antlers, and I'm going to color that red. Then I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to make this easy on myself. I'm going to make this all red. Now if you wanted to, you could easily come in and with colored pencils especially, you could color this and put more detail in it. But I think this is good for what we're doing. I'm just going to color like that. And I just want to get that harness all the way around in that red. Okay, it doesn't look perfect, and it doesn't have to, because when we come back in with our darker colors and do his antlers and what have you. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to do his antlers, and I think I want to use, yeah, let's go with, this is the dark soft suede. So I'm going to do his antlers in the dark soft suede. And you don't have to, you know, be an artist to do this. You just got to have a little steady hand, which I don't have. I shake really bad from time to time, but you can still do this. And if you're not good with alcohol markers, the water-based markers will work for these as well. Now, I wouldn't color the entire reindeer in watercolor unless you're using watercolor paper. And the reason for that, the water-based markers have water in them. And if you put it on regular cardstock, it's going to cause it to roll. Alright, I think that looks really good. So now what I want to do is come in with my dark crumb cake. And this is dark crumb cake. And I'm going to start coloring my reindeer. Just around where I want some dark places. So everywhere that the artist put these lines in, I'm going to color them dark with my dark marker. And of course under the belly. And then we're going to grab that light crumb cake, and I'm using the bullet tip on both of these because you've got small areas to color. So now I'm going to go back and I'm just going to fill in and blend that darker color with this lighter color. Circular motions. I think circular motions helps this to blend a lot better. So just continue to color. And you can see it doesn't take very long to color one of these. it looks intimidating when you first stamp it, but like I said, everything in steps. So if you go in after you stamp and do your detail, then come back in and put in your little accent marks where the artist has given you the guidelines, and then just come back and blend everything together. Those are the steps that I find coloring things like this the easiest. And don't be intimidated. You know, you don't know that you can do this until you try. And there's our reindeer, and I did get out just a little bit right there. I'm going to fix that because I'm going to grab my color corrector. And all this does, it just takes away the color. If you put color down where you didn't need it, you can erase it with that. So there's our little reindeer. Not hard to do, and I think he turned out really cute. So that one is done. So now let's get our little child. And for the child, I want to do a blue coat, and I'm using the light Orchid Oasis. And we're going to need that red again because I'm going to call it a little girl because she's holding an apple. And I'm going to use some of the browns, soft suede, and the crumb cake for her boots. And I think I might use the red for her little stockings. And for her little fur, I'm going to use the light Flirty Flamingo. And I think this is going to turn out really, really cute. So the first thing I want to do is come in with the Orchid Oasis, and I'm going to color her coat. And you just want to, now this is a real juicy marker because these were new. So you just want to put down the tiny bit of color that you need. Like that. And let's do the hood. And then I'm going to take the pink. This is the light Flirty Flamingo, and I'm just going to come around the edge of her hood. And let's go ahead and do her scarf, the pink as well, and down the front of her coat, and her mittens. And then we're going to take this red and we're just barely going to touch the apple. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do her leggings. And now we're going to do her little boots. And I think I'm going to do the light soft suede. And then I'm going to take the dark crumb cake and I'm just going to blend in a little bit like that, just to give it a little bit of depth. Now she's done. So all's left to do is run these through our die machine. And remember, I told you it's going to be so simple because we have the dies to do it with. There's the die for the child. And that's going to cut that out perfectly. And then here is our die for our reindeer. Alright, I'm going to go cut these out on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we will be right back, and I'm going to show you how we're going to stamp the next thing, which is going to be these trees, and I think you're going to love the effect of that. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I've got my 2 pieces die cut, and they look beautiful, as you can see. So I'm going to lay these over to the side, because the next thing that I want to do is I want to cut down this piece of Starry Sky. Or do I want to use Night of Navy? I think I want to use Night of Navy. I changed my mind. So I'm going to grab a piece of Night of Navy, and again I just pulled out of my scrap bin, and I want this piece to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to come over to 5 1/4 and go ahead and cut it, and then turn it and cut it at 4. This is going to give us our mat for the front of our card, and I wanted it to be dark because I really want the next feature that we're going to do to really pop. And what we're going to do is we're going to heat emboss using white embossing powder these trees for the background. So I'm going to take my Versamark ink, and this is a clear, very sticky ink, but it works perfect with your embossing powders. So let's go ahead and ink this up. I'm going to use my powder tool on this piece because every little speck of that ink will show on this dark paper. So I'm going to powder this really well, and this is using the little powder tool that comes with the essential kit. It has your tweezers, your brush, your tray, and your embossing buddy. Alright, I'm going to grab the stamp before I stamp the trees. I want to stamp Peace on Earth. So I'm going to grab Peace on Earth, and I'm going to stamp it right about there. So I'm going to grab this, and all I'm going to do is load it up onto my stamp block. Just like that. And then we're going to take our Versamark ink. Let me zoom y'all out just a hair. And I'm just going to ink up this stamp. And I'm going to put Peace on Earth up here at the top, right about here. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and re-ink these trees because I have waited a few minutes. Just a little bit. And I want trees to come up almost to that piece of the P on piece. So I'm going to put trees there. And I'm going to ink again. And I want some down here. And let's go ahead and ink that one more time. And I'm going to put some trees up here. Just like that. So now let's go ahead and cover up our ink pad. And I'm going to grab out my white embossing powder. Zoom you out a little bit further, something like that. And I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to take my piece and put it right over top of my embossing powder like this. And I'm just going to spoon that on. And now we're going to have snow-covered trees along with our sentiment. And when you put your embossing powder on, you want to make sure you're getting a good coverage. So I like to go back over mine a couple times and make sure that everything is covered really well. And that looks beautiful. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and cover this up, and we're going to get our heat tool. But before I get my heat tool, I am going to grab my tweezers. And these come in that kit, and they're wonderful because they allow you to hold this and emboss it without burning your hand, which I love that. So here is our heat tool, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this on and let it preheat. So it does make a little bit of noise, but I'm going to try to hold it away from it while I'm waiting for it to heat up. And you need to give it maybe 25 to 30 seconds to get good and warm. And then when you take this to this that looks kind of matte gray is going to turn into a beautiful shiny white. And we are going to do the magic now. I like to come in behind and just heat up my paper and then start working on the front. Alright, we have that all heat set. And I'm going to let that cool for a minute before I do anything to it. But isn't that beautiful? Those trees by themselves, that alone would make a beautiful card front. But we're going to add to that because I also want to take out, let me clean this large stamp. Normally I wouldn't have to wipe these back on a microfiber towel. The reason I'm having to do that is my ink pad is dirty. And I mean my Stampin' Scrub. So once I get this to the sink and clean it, I won't have to do this anymore. Okay, those are nice and clean. So let's move on to our next step, which is going to be placing our images onto our piece. So I thought the reindeer would look beautiful right about here and that, but we need something else. So in this die set we have some snowbanks. There is a snowbank and there is a snowbank. And why not use those? So we're going to add even more dimension on our card by just taking a piece of white cardstock. Remember that piece I said a while ago we cut off because we could use it again? Well, we're getting ready to use it. So I'm going to cut these two snowbanks and then we'll decide how we want to put them together. So I think for this one I'm just going to go ahead and bring up, I know what I'll do. We'll cut this piece down. We don't need all of this. So let's bring it in, and let's say we need that much of it. So we'll just cut that off and then save that piece. And now we have enough here to cut our 2 snowbanks. And by cutting that down, guess what? This will fit into my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which makes it so nice because this is such a neat little machine to bring to your desk. Now, it does like to slide around, so I like to use my silicone craft sheet to help anchor it. It's not as heavy as the regular Stampin' Seal, and by putting that silicone craft mat under it, it doesn't want to move as bad as it does without it. So I'm going to grab my cut plates, and I'm going to bring this back over and lay it onto my machine. And let's go ahead and put a piece of tape across that just to hold them, and slide that in. And then we can die cut these 2 pieces just like that. And I understand that in the new kit that's coming out, you'll be able to get this in a boho blue, a beautiful, almost like a periwinkle type color, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But it's only available for new demonstrators coming in, which gives an incentive if you've been thinking about, now why didn't that cut? Okay, I see why. This piece is made to cut out of your cardstock. So I did not know that because I had not cut this before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it work by cutting down this side. And then I'm going to take this to my trimmer, and I'm going to cut out that piece. So let's get this little hanging piece off of there, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to make this work. Let's throw these pieces away because they can be garbage. Move that out of our way. Get our trusty little trimmer out because this is like one of my have tools for everything that I do. And I have a line right there so I can see that line. So I'm going to line it up in the track of my trimmer. Something like that, and slice it. And then here is my snowbank. I love that. Alright, so now we have our 2 snowbanks. A lot of times you can release those, yep, just by tossing that on your, a little unconventional, but it works. So there's my other snowbank. So this one would be absolutely beautiful sitting right behind this one. But let's bring our card back over, or our mat, and let's decide how we want our snowbanks. How about something like, I think I like it down just like that. So I'm going to glue this down. So I'm going to take some liquid glue. I'm going to bring that silicone craft mat back over. Since I'm gluing right to the edge, I'm going to use my silicone craft mat, and I'm going to take glue and put it on the back of this. Remember, we just need a little bit. You don't need a lot. And I'm going to line this up right with the edge of that card base, or that mat. I keep calling it a base, but it's not. It is a mat, because we are going to center this on a card base. So I'm going to bring that up. Just press that down like that. Isn't that pretty already? And then we're going to take this piece and just lay it over top of that and glue it down. I love the way that snowbank turned out. You do have to trim it out, but it was, you saw it was not hard to do. Just take it to your trimmer and lay it in there, line it up, and whack it off. Okay, then I'm just going to, once I get it where I want it, then I'm just going to press and hold. And there is our snowbank. Now we have a place to set our reindeer, and I want him on dimensionals. I want him to look like he is standing high. So I'm going to take some Stampin' dimensionals. I might even put some small ones on his ears and his legs. Yeah, let's grab the minis for that. Get one right there and here. This is where the mini dimensionals come in so handy. Alright, so this ought to be enough to adhere him down. Let's see what we need with our little child. I think we can use, well, let's use little ones for her too. I keep saying child because I don't know whether it's a boy or girl, but since I put pink scarf and pink trim on her jacket, we're going to call her a girl. Although boys can wear pink too. I was never one of those that put pink on my boy because back in the day it was not acceptable. And my son is in his mid-40s, so that was a long time ago, y'all. It's alright. Alright, let's get our reindeer set first. So let's get all of those backers off. Trying to wrangle these into my trash can as I go, but you can see they like to stick. Sometimes it's static, just static electricity causes these things to, we got one more right there. Nope, that one's good. I think they're all sticky now. So now I can come in and decide exactly where I want that reindeer to sit. And I think I want him right here. Just like that. And then I want my child standing right here like she is handing him an apple. Isn't that beautiful? Now we're going to take all of this and we're going to put it onto a white card base, because I think that white will just bring everything out. You know what I really want to do? I think I want a piece of red. Let me grab a real red. I knew I had some real red in there. I'm going to cut a card base or another mat out of this, and I'm going to do it at 4 1/8. And I'll show you why. Let's try that trimmer. I think this will give it just a little bit of elegance. So let's cut it at 5 3/8. So 5, 1, 2, 3. 4 1/8. And now I think this is going to mat on here with just a tiny bit of that white showing. And then this is going to mat on top of that with just a tiny bit of the red showing. I think I can trim this off just a hair, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, if that. We are just going to take a tiny tiny little bit off of the top. See, just a smidge. And don't be afraid to alter your measurements like that. If you're needing to make your mat work, trim, 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 trim. It does not hurt. And you know what? Nobody knows except you that you trim. Now see, that works perfect. That looks beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card, or to my red mat. And before I go any further, I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my Jelly Roll pen. Now this is not a Stampin' Up! Item, but most of us crafters have a white pen. And what I want to do is I want to get the ink flowing on this before I take it to my card. And then I'm just going to make little dots like snow. Just to give that effect that it's snowing. Now you can find these at any art store, craft store, Amazon, and it's just called a Jelly Roll. Jelly as in G-E-L-L-Y. And it's so nice to have one of these for times like this because you can make it snow. You can also use these as a highlighter on certain things. And you know, snow is random, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I just go in and dot dot dot, just something like that. And look at the, see how pretty that makes everything look? I love it. So now we're going to put glue on the back of this, and then lay this down on here, something like that. I am not having success with that. Let's try a little bit of Stampin' Seal. Let's see if we have luck this time. All right, let's center it up. Let's move this out of my way. That white might be why I'm having difficulty getting that centered, because normally I don't. Yeah, that's much better. Now I can see my white edge a lot better. Yeah, that was much easier, wasn't it? Okay, so I'm going to open this up, give it a little press. I'm going to use this red piece for the inside and another piece of white. So I want to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And I want to get a piece of white. But we're going to cut to 3 3/4. And all the measurements and everything for this card will be in the description, so you don't have to worry about trying to get everything written down while you're watching the video. Just watch the video, enjoy it, and then everything will be in the description. It'll be a PDF where you can go and see pictures of the card, see all of the cutting dimensions and everything. It'll all be right there, plus all of my sites and links to be able to shop at my store or visit my blog. Whatever you need, it's all in one place. I'm going to grab one other stamp set that is my absolute favorite, and I think y'all know what it is. Hope and Peace. You know, I use it so much, I really ought to find something different. But hang on just a minute and let's see. This is a cute one. This is called Very Best Occasion, and it does have a couple of, or 3 of the ones that you could use for Christmas. With a little more sparkle and a little less stress, let's make this Christmas the very best. May your days be happy, your heart be light, your Christmas merry, and the new year bright. I like that one too. And then it's got this one, may you enjoy the warmth of family this season. I think I'm going to use this one. I think I want this one because I don't know. I like that one. I'm going with my first inclination, which is this one right here. And I'm going to stamp it in real red ink because I think it'll just coordinate really well with the red matte that I have going on here. So I'm going to bring this back over, and I'm going to bring it up kind of top center. That's where I like to stamp my sentiments, because that gives me a place then to write underneath it. So I'm going to load it up on a stamp block. And let's see, do I have real red over here? I think I do. Do I like that? Let's turn it over and try that again. I'll give it a little bit of pressure this time and let that ink transfer. That's much better. Alright, so now all we have left to do is put this on here, and I'm going to use Stampin' Seal. And let's center it up. Boy, I'm having one of those days where I'm just not being able to center my cards. Do y'all have that? There we go. We all have those days, I'm telling you. You know, some days it's like everything works perfect, and then you have those days where things just don't want to go together for you. That seems to be my day today. That's okay. Alright, then I'm going to open my card, and I want to center this up inside something like that. And now all we need to do is be able to sign this card, send it on its way, and what a beautiful card that is. I hope y'all have enjoyed the process of watching me make this card, and see all the details of the coloring and everything. Now this video is probably a little longer than you like, but we did a whole lot. We did heat embossing, we did die cutting, we did embellishing with an ink pen, with a jelly roll pen. We did alcohol marker blending and coloring. So there was a lot going on, and we did lots and lots of mats and snowbanks. So I hope you've enjoyed it. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. And just as a reminder, if you are interested in any of the products that you saw me use, please go visit my website. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It doesn't cost anything, and if you ring that little bell, you'll get notified every time I put up a video. So again, God bless and keep you. Until we craft again, bye-bye.